Hello and welcome to my early entry for the 2016 NFL mock draft of the first 10 picks. I'll be doing an updated version with all first round picks after the Super Bowl and with all coaches being signed. Now, at the number one position, of course, we have the Tennessee Titans. Honestly, this is one of the easiest pick of all of them because Laramie Tunsil out of Ole Miss, this offensive tackle, is a great tackle, and I feel like you know with the new head coach, I don't feel like he's gonna be really confident in drafting somebody at a skill position this high. With maybe I don't see any skill position besides Joey Bosa really being that first pick. You really see it, but I feel like they're more wanting to protect Mariota right now. As injuries. They don't want injuries at all to Mariota. So I think they're gonna build a really good offensive line, and I think they're gonna build around that. Now at the number two position, I have the Cleveland Browns, who gonna pick Joey Bosa out of Ohio State. This is defensive end slash outside linebacker in the 3-4 system in Ohio. Could really, I think, you mostly, a lot of people think that it's going to be a quarterback really early, but I feel like, I don't think a top five pick will have a quarterback, and I feel like the only team that could really draft quarterback will be the Browns, but with Hugh Jackson there, I feel like, and with the statistical way the management now will be working, they're gonna see that there's really not somebody right now at this position in the draft who really makes sense to be drafted at the quarterback position. I don't feel like there's a really, a huge franchise changing quarterback at this draft. But I feel like Joey Bosa could really, bring something that they really need, which is an edge rusher. They had a really bad pass rush last year, and I think this will really help. And I think the fans will feel happy that they didn't have ruin somebody's career at the quarterback position as well. Now, number three are the San Diego Chargers, and the Chargers going to select Ronnie Staley out of Notre Dame. This offensive tackle, I think, is a great pickup for the Chargers. Well, a lot of people think they're gonna pick a wide receiver, with the fact that Keenan Allen is the only really, a top class wide receiver there, and I don't think they have a really good wide receiver 2 or 3. But I feel like at this point, I think, Philip Rivers isn't really mobile. He really, and the tackle position last year was a real problem with injuries. And I feel like it's just a pick that will make a lot of sense. And with the fact that they have a prospect of moving to LA after the 2016 NFL season, I think, and with the fact that Rivers isn't the youngest guy out there, right? He could really, in 2 3 years, he could be out of there even faster if he wants to trade. So, having somebody with Ronnie Staley would really help, getting a new quarterback there, as well as helping, of course, Philip Rivers. Now, at the number four spot, we have Dallas Cowboys, and this is really shocking for most people, of course, that I've picked Robert Nkemdinchy out of Ole Miss. He recently had that problem with Mariana, and the fact of the matter is, I think Jerry Jones doesn't care. I think he feels like he can change any player's off-field problems. We didn't see that with Greg Hardy. He kind of was good outside the field, but on field there were a lot of problems with him. And I think he would be a direct replacement for Greg Hardy, who I don't see being re-signed this offseason by the Cowboys. And I think this is honestly a pick. This is a style pick that really shows Jerry Jones, boldness, and I think this makes a lot of sense. Now, at the number five position, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, while the Jaguars, defensively aren't that good at all. And I think the safety position and the basically secondary, they have a lot of problems with secondary members. And I feel like somebody in Jelly Ramsey, you know, 6'1", 201 pounds, you know, out of Florida State could be a really great pick for them. With the fact that Ravens, who are picking next, as well need a safety, more of a more than quarterback, cornerback, and they need safety as well as cornerback. But really, safety for for Ramsey is the best position. I feel like they really need that safety, and he's a great player. Right now to get here in the free agency, they probably not have the best chance of getting somebody good at this position. Now at number 6 we have the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens will pick Vernon Hargreaves third out of Florida Gators. Well, while they really need a safety, I feel like they if I correct me if I'm wrong, but they changed who's at the safety in the end of season and looked like it was much better. While the corner position really needs a great corner, and I think Vernon Hargreaves is probably the best talent at the corner position in this year's draft. He was one of the best, if not the best corner in all of college football last year. Not really last year, but years before. This year's end of the year really got he stuck down. But I feel like everyone is gonna see this 5'11" guy doing some crazy things at the combine. I think his stock will go up, and I think the Ravens gonna pick him with the number 6. And this really makes sense. While at the wide receiver position, they could go with a wide receiver, and I wouldn't be really shocked about it because the fact of the matter, besides Perriman and Steve Smith, they don't have a really good. Well, Kamara Aiken, had a pretty good end of the season with Steve Smith coming off of ACL injury, and Perriman didn't have a snap in NFL season last year. His rookie year, of course, out of playing, didn't play a second of football in the NFL season. He was drafted number 27 in the first round by the Ravens, and I feel like they're not gonna go wide receiver. They think they're gonna pull another year out of Steve Smith. They're gonna see what's happening with him, and maybe I feel like it's not that bad. Well, at the number 7 position, we have the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners just signed Chip Kelly yesterday, and while you would think that Kaepernick would be an option for Chip Kelly, I think Chip Kelly, I don't think he's an idiot, and he saw that this lot of play action and QB runs really don't work in NFL, and I think with the fact that you have a really tough opponents in their division in Seattle and the Rams, and of course the Cardinals with all great defenses. I don't think he's gonna be really confident in a run first quarterback. That's why he's gonna pick Jared Goff out of California. Well, it may not be Jared Goff, it could be Paxton Lynch out of Memphis, but I feel like there's not gonna be another quarterback in the top 10 because I just don't feel like there really is really like a franchise quarterback that could change a franchise really crazily. I feel like there's a good quarterbacks that could win a Super Bowl, 1 or 2, but it's not really that one guy who's gonna tear up the league. And with the fact that he's a Pac-12 man, and Chip Kelly coached there with the Oregon team, and I think he's probably gonna be him. But we could see Paxton Lynch selected. Well, at the number 8 position are the Miami Dolphins, and I honestly hate this team because not because I hate them as a team. I hate I hate their personnel. I feel like they have the worst quarterback who's getting paid too much money, and I don't think they're gonna get any playoff appearances while he's there. I think he's gonna be there for a long time. So I'm sorry, Miami fans, but I don't feel like you're gonna have a great year coming up. All year after that, all year after that, till Ryan Tannehill is there. But I think they're gonna pick Miles Jack out of UCLA. Of course, he had that incident in UCLA. A lot of people talking about what's all with that. But I think he's the best linebacker in this draft. He may be not the best guy, all around. There's some guys who are a little better, in both position coverage and tackling. But I think, I think Dolphins really need a linebacker, and the fact if they don't get a free agent, a linebacker is really great, which I don't think they're gonna get with that. With having an eighth pick, doesn't really help you to get somebody in free agency, and they don't have a linebacker who can really drop in coverage. And I think Miles Jack out of UCLA is a great pickup for the Dolphins, and it's just period. I don't think they can pick anywhere else. I mean, they could be looking into the cornerback position, but I think at this point, besides the Clemson kid, I don't feel like there's somebody else who could you really draft at this position in the draft. Now, at the number 9 position are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose stupid ass owners just fired Lovie Smith and signed their offensive coordinator. I don't know his name, but they signed him as their head coach because they didn't want to lose him. Apparently, that's an insight that a lot of people got from. So for me, the Buccaneers could change the pick. Seeing what they're gonna do in the free agency, they could be bringing somebody like Greg Hardy, which who really wouldn't be the best player with this team, she's a young team, but I think something like a Greg Hardy who really isn't fitting the scheme. But I think it will either be him or Emmanuel Ogbah, which I think Oklahoma State is a great pick right here. I feel like he could be high. If Dolphins could pick him, and if 49ers could pick him, honestly. But I feel like he's gonna be picked number 9. They really need this, and I don't think it would be a great pickup. Besides Gerald McCoy, he's a beast of a defensive tackle. You don't have nothing in the pass rush, and I think with this addition and maybe somebody else out of free agency, that could really have a great pass rush. Up against Drew Brees, Cam Newton, and Matt Ryan out there could really help. Now at the number 10 position, we have the New York Giants, and this probably is a shocker. Laquan Treadwell at Ole Miss, wide receiver. That's right, wide receiver. And I think this is the reasoning. I will give you a really good reasoning, in my opinion. The fact that they just signed their offensive coordinator as their head coach in McAdoo, and it could change, of course, if Amur Kamara, who's a corner, doesn't re-sign, which doesn't really look so promising. But I think they're gonna have him re-signed by end of the free agency. He will still be a Giant, but we'll see. But I feel like then if he's signed, I feel like the wide receiver is the best pick right here, because Tampa Bay just drafted a defensive end, and I don't feel like there's somebody who can really, be at the number 10 spot. And I think Laquan Treadwell really could help their wide receiver depth, with the fact that Victor Cruz is really injury prone. And if I was the general manager in Giants, I would cut him loose, because this guy is injury prone. He doesn't play. He didn't play this year. I don't feel like he's gonna play ever again. A full season or something. I think he's a little overrated. With that big fat contract he has with the Giants, I feel like they should cut him and just pay out his money and just take that hit. And that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you guys after Super Bowl. I'm gonna make my mock draft. And thank you for watching again, and see you next time. And you could subscribe so you remember that I make these videos. So thank you and goodbye.